Hey everyone, welcome to another of Adam's Reviews. I'm Adam and this is my review. So today I am going to be reviewing this DBPower DJS20. It's a jump starter, but it's a heck of a lot more than a jump starter. It has a battery in it that's a 1200 milliamp hour battery that can produce a peak of 400 amps. That's pretty crazy. That's a lot of power packed into this little tiny thing. So what do you get when you pull it out of the box? You get a pretty awesome case. So it comes with a power supply, and they recommend that you use this power supply that comes with it. It's not just a emergency jump starter for your vehicle, but it can also power up numerous devices. That's what this cable is for. It's the cable that plugs into the device, and then there's like a ton of adapters that will allow you to hook up just all kinds of different gadgets that you might have that need to be powered. And this is the meat and potatoes of the rig. This is the adapter that you plug in that allows you to go ahead and jump start your vehicle if your battery is dead. So this definitely would come in handy. It comes with a cigarette lighter charger, which is going to be really handy because this is where I intend to keep it. I plan on keeping this inside the vehicle. And it has a USB cable adapter, so that way you can plug in a USB device and power it up that way. There's a bunch of adapters that come with it, and this right here is the adapters, and as you can see, there are a lot of adapters, manuals in various languages, so you can see that there's all sorts of languages that will describe how to operate this unit, and then the actual unit itself. Comes in, like I said, a really nice case, and it's got a molded, really dense foam surround to keep it protected, so that way if you do accidentally drop it or something silly like that, hopefully it won't get damaged. There's all kinds of other things that are built into this, and I'll kind of give you a little bit of a glance at it through this camera here. So you're probably already noticing that there's this strange looking red bar. It looks sort of something like out of Battlestar Galactica, and in a way you might be a little bit right. It is actually something that's like that. An LED flashlight on the end, so you can see that there. And then there's all the different various connects for actually jump starting the vehicle. The port for that is hidden behind this little rubber thing right here, and I'm assuming they're doing that for a very good reason, because as I stated at the beginning of this video, this is a 12,000 milliamp hour battery that can produce a peak of 400 amps. So if you have this exposed and heaven forbid something metal drops in there, whoo, it's like dropping a wrench across the battery terminals inside your car. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that happen before, but it's not a pretty sight, and you don't want to do it. Okay, so when you get it, the thing that they recommend that you do is charge it. I went ahead and charged it. I'm not really sure if it was necessary, because when I powered it up, actually, it lit up all the LEDs on it, letting me know that was fully charged. But just to be, adhering to what the instructions said, I went ahead and charged it overnight. So that way, this thing is very much fully charged. So when you turn it to the on position and push the power button right there, it actually lights up, letting you know that, well, I should clarify that there's all kinds of different modes, and the power switch right here actually acts as a toggle to switch between all the different modes that this thing has. And you see here, all lit up nice. It's got a little light in the USB port to help you find it in case it's dark outside, I'm assuming. So, as I just shown you, what you can do is you hit the power button twice really quickly, and it actually starts lighting like this. And since these are LEDs inside here, I'm imagining this is probably going to last a lot longer than the lights on your vehicle when you put your hazard lights on, because that actually drains your battery fairly, I don't want to say fairly quickly, but I mean, you've probably seen plenty of people who've been broken down on the side of the road and their lights are getting dimmer and dimmer because they haven't received any assistance yet, and having those lights on when the battery's not running just drains the battery. Even if you don't have a vehicle and you're just out and about and you need assistance in some sort of emergency situation and you need to indicate something is going on to someone else, this is a great way of doing it. When you want to go ahead and power additional devices though, you just press the button once and that'll go ahead and initiate the power mode. It'll let you know how much of a charge the device has, and as you can see here right now, it's selected on 12 volts. So pressing the power button again will switch between all the different power modes. So you can output 12 volts, 16 volts, or a whopping 19 volts, depending on the devices that you have to power with this object. You just press and hold the power button for 3 seconds. There we go. And you got yourself a nice little LED light that will probably last, you know, with a 12,000 milliamp hour battery, I'm imagining that this light would probably stay on for a very, very long time, because this is one whopping battery right here. Not only is it just a flashlight, but it also can signal SOS. So you press it and hold it for another 3 seconds, and that'll toggle SOS mode. As you can see here, it's blinding everybody that is watching the video. And also a strobe mode. That way you can have your own, you know, raves out in the forest or whatever the heck you want to do, or maybe cause somebody to go into an epileptic fit. Press and hold it again for another 3 seconds, and that will turn it off. One of the things that you can do, supposedly, is charge your cell phone. Now, I didn't actually check yet to see whether or not this adapter is the same kind of mini USB that my phone has. And is it? Yes, it is. Look at that. It plugs right in. Awesome. So, turn it on. And what we got? And it's actually charging. The little red light right there indicates that my cell phone is in charging right now. And you can verify that just by pulling out the plug and see how the little red light went off. That means that it's no longer charging. So yeah, I can actually sit there and power my cell phone, run it off of this guy here and not drain my battery. Basically any USB device that you have, I would imagine you'd be able to power it with this guy here. You can go ahead and plug in this cable here, and this will allow you to go ahead and slap on some of these adapters right here. So that way if you have a device that you want to go ahead and power with this, you can do that. And that's one of the things that I have a problem with. And it's not the fact that this will go ahead and power up those devices, it's that the device might not be able to be powered by this unit simply because there is no way that I can tell that you are able to actually reverse the polarity on this. Electronic devices that run off DC current have a positive and a negative, and I'm sure most of you are aware of that. The problem is that the input on a device isn't always going to follow whatever the polarity is on this device, meaning that you might have a device that the outside of this is positive and the inside of it is negative. But I haven't actually determined whether or not, does it actually say? It doesn't even say on this what the output is, whether or not the outer is negative or the outer is positive. But that's an important thing to know, because if you aren't aware of whether or not your device has positive on the outside or negative on the outside, if the device isn't really built to tolerate having the wrong polarity applied to it, you could wind up frying your device. Why don't we just go ahead and find out what the polarity is on this thing right now. And the outside is negative, and it is actually outputting exactly 12.5 volts. So that's well within specification. Any device should be able to tolerate an extra half a volt. One of the other things you're gonna have to make sure is that on your devices, like if it's a 9 volt device or a 6 volt or something like that, if it's below 12 volts basically, do not use this. You will more than likely fry the thing that you plug in, because that's just too much voltage and you will wind up frying your device. So be very careful of that. So let's go ahead and test 16 volts out. 16.7, so we're starting to get a little bit out of tolerance. And this is the 19 volt setting. This one's at 19.2, so that's really close to 19. Almost right on the money for outputting 19 volts. The only other gripe that I have is that the outer casing is made out of plastic. And it doesn't even really feel like the kind of like sturdy plastic that you can rely on, like some kind of really good polymer plastic. It just feels kind of like cheap kind of plastic. The only other thing that I would ding it on would be actually this thing right here. You have an incredibly short leads to work with here. But other than that, I'm actually pretty impressed with this product. You know, when you're stranded on the side of a road because your battery's dead, or just doing something silly like going grocery shopping, forgetting that you have the headlights on and drain your battery instead of like having to ask somebody else for a jump start and having to carry big cables around with you, just carry this thing. I would recommend this product. I love the concept of just being able to have peace of mind that I can jump start my own vehicle without having to rely on a tow company or another vehicle being close. I will feel a little bit more comfortable knowing that I have something like this around to help me out in the event that there was an emergency. So that's gonna do it for me on this review, and I will see you guys next time on Adam's Reviews.